Hello, everyone. My name is Pedro Nunes. I am an eToro popular investor, also known as PM Nunes. And in this monthly video, which I call Investment Dossier, I will speak about cryptocurrencies. And it's funny because I decided to speak about them before this big last drop that happened in the last month. And one of the reasons that I would like to speak about cryptocurrencies, it's because I consider that the investment in cryptocurrency, it's very recent. There isn't a lot of theory behind it. We have a big presence in the social media, in the YouTube, many people completely enthusiastic about the concept, but I really consider that it's a very recent asset and we don't have a lot of history and theory behind it. What I'm saying might lead you to think that I'm against cryptocurrencies. Not at all. I am one of the people that about 3 or 4 years ago changed my view, and more recently I changed in even more the view I had about cryptocurrencies. I consider them one of the big revolutions that is happening. The blockchain is a concept that is here to stay. I think that they are a form of democracy, of decentralization, of removing people that shouldn't be in the middle. But on the other hand, I think there's a lot of people too much enthusiastic about it and not being rational and desiring that the prices will go up and up with no limit. So the first thing I would like to say is always try to have a balanced view about everything and have your feet on the floor. One of the things we are witnessing, with no doubt, is that cryptocurrencies in general are a risk-on asset. This means that when the market is in a position of risking, cryptocurrencies will increase, and they will increase more than other riskier assets. On the contrary, when the market is down, they will go down. In the beginning, many people said it was an inflation hedge, but it is an inflation hedge because the price had increased a lot in the past years. So in a 3 or 4 years view, of course, they are an inflation hedge, but not in the short term. In the short term, they are becoming more and even more a risk-on asset. So when the market is risk-off perspective, we can expect that the cryptocurrencies will go up. They will go up when there is a scenario of risk-on perspective, and maybe the moment we are living, we will have to wait for that moment, and we have to make this desert cross until that point. People are always saying buy the dip, but to buy the dip, you have to have more money to increase. So the popular perspective that is on YouTube, that is on social media, is always to pump the price. But if we look back at the big investors of our time, what they say, it's very simple. And in my perspective, you can apply that to the crypto world. The traditional investment advices go to save, and what you save, you invest in stable assets. So we can transport this to cryptocurrency. So save, buy Bitcoin, maybe the most stable, with no leverage, and wait for long terms. So each time more, I think that this simple idea of investing in cryptocurrencies, maybe it's the best, and it's the one that enables us to be present in the long term and to be able to manage these drawdowns that appear that in the cryptocurrencies are very big. We had the Luna episode, and the Luna episode is linked with an idea of stable coins. And if you listen to Jerome Powell's speech, his concern, it's always the stable coins. He rarely speaks about Bitcoin. Why? Because I think, and each time more, that stable coins are a false concept in the crypto world because they are not stable, as we saw. And they're not stable mainly because, and if we look at Luna episode, because there was a yield of almost 20%. We can't create money from nothing. Conceptually, it's not a problem to have a stable coin. But the problem, and this is one of the problems in the crypto world, is when we try to put yields or farming yields or something like that, that is built from the smoke, from nothing. From this moment, and I had that vision before, be very concerned about investing in stable coins because they are not backed from nothing. They should be, and I think in the future we could create ways of backing some stable coins with real money or other type of assets that protect them in the real, but that's not what is happening now. I always try to have an independent view on these things. I always think about them. We are always seeing that many people in that same social media channels say that Bitcoin will hit 100K. This was supposed to happen this year, or in a few years, 500,000 or 1 million. I would like you to think about the meat of these perspectives with the boom and bust cycles and the bubbles. And in a very practical perspective, of course, Bitcoin will reach 100K. Of course, that's the most obvious scenario in some future where the risk-on perspective and the economic scenario will push stocks and riskier assets higher. This is highly probable. But another thing completely different is to put these kind of values that are completely, I'm talking about, of course, in the medium to short term, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, unless there is a big world economic movement up, is not possible to imagine Bitcoin, in my perspective, at those levels. And that is a bubble perspective. And I think that is a perspective that is against this kind of assets. So we have to figure a kind of growth that is compatible with the growth of this universe, with the growth of users, with the growth of money put into it, and not in a wishful thinking that I have 1 Bitcoin and I invest now around 20K, and in 10 years they will transform that money into 1 million or 500,000. This is wishful thinking. We have to look at this at concrete levels of sustainable growth. So I understand that for some people, I'm arguing against their lottery ticket they have on their hands, but we must always think about sustainable growth and sustainable investment. What I'm saying is that we have to have our heads on our body and our feet on the ground. Lastly, I would like to say that my portfolio has a theoretical percentage of 5% of Bitcoin. Because of the present moment, I don't have any. I have made some experiences, but the price was going down, so I put a stop loss and the position was closed. And I would say that I will certainly buy Bitcoin for the portfolio when the moment is right. Maybe I will buy more than 5% if I see that the risk on environment is good and I want to that the portfolio will go up. But this is not the moment to make such a decision. I might be wrong. Maybe I will change the way I think tomorrow. Maybe I'm saying things that some people don't like to hear, but this is my opinion. And this is the way I view things right now. I will continue to look into this specific class of assets within the investment world. And I would say that the crypto investments are an essential part of an investment portfolio. Thank you very much for seeing this video, and I see you in the next monthly video.